Weekend, Game 3 between the Dodgers and the Cubs, and the Dodgers behind Clayton Kershaw with a chance to sweep the defending champion Cubs. Taking the opener Friday, taking Game 2 yesterday, and now the finale on a gorgeous Sunday afternoon. We welcome you inside. Joe Davis with Oral Hershiser. Alana Rizzo joins us in just a moment. You know, the Cubs came into this series playing some of their best baseball of the season. They had won 7 of 9. They'd gotten the offense going in the previous homestand, but the Dodgers have completely shut them down.
They sure have. They came in here hitting 20 home runs in their last homestand over a 9-game period. And then you look at what the Dodgers are doing. They haven't turned it around. They've continued to stay hot. The home run ball coming production from Chase Utley, the old, and then the young Chris Taylor. And Chris Taylor now today hitting in the 3-hole.
And facing off against Jon Lester, who goes for the Cubs. We mentioned Kershaw for the Dodgers. This is about as good as it gets as far as a pitching matchup.
First time in 632 combined starts between these two that they face each other. Probably two of the best in their generation. Both of them coming off of great starts. Kershaw with 9 innings and only 1 run against the Cardinals. He had it all working for him, 10 strikeouts. Clayton going for his 8th victory this year. That would lead the National League. And then you turn the page and you look at Jon Lester. This guy is a 3-time world champion. Cutter, slider, and now the curveball has gotten much better as a surprise pitch, getting a lot of swings and misses. 9 innings for him. Has he beat the Giants? Has 3 victories this year.
Took down the Dodgers earlier this year. Let's go down to Alana Rizzo.
Guys, after a great start from Brandon McCarthy yesterday, he left to get an MRI on his right knee. Just shows that he has some right knee tendonitis. It's actually something that he's been managing all season long. Dave Roberts said he is not in jeopardy of missing his next start. He continues to stay on schedule. As far as Jock Peterson is concerned, he is eligible to come off of the disabled list early on in the series against the Cardinals. However, Dave said he will not be activated, likely on the road trip. Jock Peterson still dealing with some fogginess after that collision with Yasiel Puig in right field. He will be on a portion of the road trip, but do not expect him to play.
All right, Alana, this 10-game homestand coming to a close, and what a day it is. Dodgers and Cubs, Kershaw and Lester, first pitch coming up. Driving matters. It's a great environment here at Dodger Stadium today for the series finale between the Dodgers and the Cubs on a picture-perfect afternoon. Joe Davis, Orr Hershiser, and Alana Rizzo. Joe Maddon and the Cubs facing Clayton Kershaw and the Dodgers. Dodgers have won 8 of 10. They're a Major League best 20-8 over the last month. Joe Maddon's team, meanwhile, had won 7 of 9 before losing the first 2 games of this series. Here's the lineup brought to you by Honda. Javier Baez bats leadoff for the first time in this series, and it's Bryant and Rizzo. Neither of those guys have a hit against the Dodgers this weekend. Half the rookie bats cleanup. Hayward in the 5 spot in right. Wilson Contreras, after having yesterday off, catches John Lester, with Russell and Almora hitting 7th and 8th. Clayton Kershaw, #1 in the National League in wins at 7. He's #2 in the National League in ERA, just a tick above 2, and he sits 10 strikeouts short of 2,000 for his career.
His career is absolutely amazing, and it gets harder and harder to find things to compliment him on that you haven't heard before. But I'll tell you what, he continues to pound the strike zone, retire hitters right away. 82% of the hitters he faces to lead off an inning are either out or reached by an error, so that's not his fault, and he really can come after you. I read this statistic today, Joe. 94% of the time he throws a strike within the first 2 pitches. That means he's not going to many 2-0 counts. He absolutely dominates when he's ahead, and he absolutely dominates when he's behind in the count, and that happens rarely.
Remember what we talked about earlier this week? He's had more 3-0 counts as a hitter this year than he's had while he's on the mound. Only 1 3-0 count all year.
And he grinds when he's on the offensive side. That's the fun time for a pitcher, and Clayton takes it seriously but also has a blast.
So here's Baez, and here's game 3, Dodgers and Cubs. Dodgers took the opener 4-0 behind Wood and Ryu. Took game 2 yesterday 5-0 behind McCarthy and Stripling. Today it's Clayton Kershaw, and off we go. Baez hits the first one in the air to center, and it drops in front of Chris Taylor for a leadoff single. A crack bat single for Baez to open the afternoon.
Third baseman number 17, Chris Bryant.
Cubs know that Clayton comes right after you, throws a lot of strikes in the first 2 pitches, so they are going to be aggressive today. Most teams have been aggressive with Clayton. Problem with opposing teams is, even though he's throwing strikes, they're quality.
Chris Bryant now. Reigning MVP, 0 for 7 in this series. Goes after the first pitch, and a pop-up down the left field line. That will drop in front of Gutierrez. And back-to-back soft singles on the first 2 pitches.
That might have been a broken bat also. Cubs barely letting Clayton warm up for this first inning. He did shatter his bat. 2 broken bats and 2 bloop hits. Neither one with exit velocity probably over 80 miles an hour. Just very softly hit.
Cubs came into this game 5 for 57 in the series, and they have 2 hits on 2 pitches here in game 3. Now it's Rizzo. Rizzo, one of the best left-handed hitters in the game against left-handed pitching. Although not much has gone right for him this year. The numbers way down. Two and out. 2 on, nobody out. Kershaw to Rizzo with a 2-0 pitch. Foul tipped. It's 2-1.
Clayton living inside on Rizzo. 2 fastballs in for balls. That would have been a ball, but caught a piece of the bat.
First time the Cubs have seen Kershaw this year. Missed him in that 3-game series at Wrigley early on. Lifetime against the Cubs, 5-3 with a .218 earned run average. That's in the regular season. Of course, faced them twice in the NLCS last year. 7 shutout innings in Game 2, and then 5 runs allowed in the deciding Game 6. Rizzo pops it foul, and the count evens up.
Right back in there, 4 in a row. Clayton shaking to that fastball in. Austin Barnes trying to take him somewhere else, but Clayton saying, nope, that is the pitch I want to throw for the first 4.
Season high 10 strikeouts in that 9-inning performance against St. Louis Tuesday. Didn't walk anybody. Gave up just the 1 run on 3 hits. After falling behind 2-0. It's gone full on a curve, 3-2.
It was the 3rd sign that Austin had to go to. They are not on the same page yet, but you figure after 2 pitches and 2 hits that Clayton is going to go to his own strategy on how to get out of this jam.
It's only the 2nd time Barnes has caught Kershaw.
Looks like fastball in again.
Another pop foul.
You see 3 or 4 or 5 signs being flashed down there below. I'm just going through the different sequences in my head, the possible sign usage they would be using, and right there maybe figured it out that it was fastball in.
I'm not going to ask you to share.
I'm not going to share.
Full count on a guy that's been an all-star 3 consecutive seasons. 3-2. And Rizzo grounds it to Bellinger. Goes to second for 1. Back to first in time for a double play.
Immediately the Cubs bench raises their arms, and everybody points to whoever's in charge of finding out if the replay was safe or out. They're questioning Brian Gorman's call right now as they check the video. Take a look for yourself here. Cody Bellinger, a tough hop, gets rid of it. Corey Seager with the turn. Boy, I think he's safe.
Yeah, that shouldn't take long.
No.
It's a great play by Bellinger on a tough bounce. Came up on him. First time he's played first base in more than a week, with Adrian Gonzalez getting the day off today.
Yeah, with the double play not being completed, it's still at least making that play on the tough hop to second and not defaulting to just stepping on first. You keep the double play in order for Clayton to try and salvage that runner at third with 1 out.
So they do quickly overturn it, and they're at the corners with 1 away. And Ian Happ coming up. Rookie for the Cubs in his 14th game since his call-up earlier this month. It's supposed to be a short-term thing, but similar to Cody Bellinger, produced so much that they couldn't possibly send him down when the roster crunch happened. Yanks 1 foul, strike 1.
Cubs in swing mode as they leave the on-deck circle. Clayton will recognize that quickly and make higher quality first pitches, not just trying to throw strikes, but actually try and throw out pitches. So more for the corner or something that looks like a strike ends up a ball.
Here's an 0-1 in the dirt, stopped by Barnes. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Not a lot of fun to get in a jam right away as a starting pitcher in the first inning. First two guys reach. But if you get out of it with no runs, it gives you tremendous confidence the rest of the game.
At the corners, one away. Kershaw downhill with a curve that's tapped foul, and it's 1-2. And it was that curve that was at its best his last time out.
It sure was. Now with the weather starting to warm up, your grip on the baseball is a little bit better. The humidity in the air gives you something to break it against, and Clayton's starting to find the release point on that. And that will be countered by John Lester, whose curveball has started to come around this year.
I don't know if you read Miguel Montero's quote today. The Cubs catcher said about Kershaw, if he has the curve working, turn the lights off and go home.
But it's a day game.
His point was taken. Now 1-2. And Happ hits it foul. Look out. Just behind the Cubs dugout.
As we have waited for Clayton's slider to get a little better this year and his curveball to come around, this pitch has really made him effective. The fastball away in that arm side lane. Everyone looks for the ball in on the slider and the fastball, but when he has that arm side lane, he doesn't even need his off-speed stuff.
A 1-2, and he got him with the slider. 2 out.
If this ball is hit, it's a hanger. Since it's a swing and miss, you feel really good if you're Kershaw getting out of the inning, but I know he has beaten himself up inside. You see the little tilt of the head after he sees the swing and miss, like, that's not where I wanted it. That's why you always say get a starting pitcher early, because once they get the range and the feel, then all of a sudden those pitches get better.
That slider has been at its best around 87 miles per hour. That was 89. Didn't have a ton of depth to it. But Happ swings over it, and it's up to Jason Hayward in a scoreless first. Swings away at the first one. That'll reach the seat. Strike one.
You can just see him getting the range on an inside fastball to lefties. To Rizzo, he fell behind in there with balls up and too far inside. Really 3 of them. Just got a check swing foul ball on the third one, but right there the perfect one to Hayward after he's had some practice.
Trying to pitch around back-to-back singles that open the inning. Both of them broken bat singles on the first 2 pitches of the afternoon. Baez and Bryant.
Left-handed hitter at the plate that Kershaw usually dominates. First and third, 2 out. Will the Cubs try something tricky on the bases if Hayward falls behind? Another strike, or even now.
High drive, right center field. Eibner's back on it. No big deal. This inning comes to a close with no damage. Despite the 2 singles that started the inning, Kershaw gets out of it, and the Dodgers come to bat against John Lester when you come back. Dodgers Stadium, temperature in the mid-70s. Gorgeous day for a ball game, and a fantastic crowd has turned out around the Jackie Robinson statue. Dodgers coming to bat for the first time, and their lineup brought to you by Honda. Logan Forsythe will lead it off. Then it's Seager and Chris Taylor hitting third. Gutierrez in the cleanup spot. Kike starts at second and bats fifth. Then Austin Barnes doing the catching. Bellinger and Eibner and Kershaw against John Lester, who is the second winningest active left-hander behind only CC Sabathia. And like Kershaw, coming off a 9-inning performance, beating San Francisco Tuesday.
John Lester continues to develop as a pitcher, and he's making adjustments as his career gets longer and longer. The three-time world champ throwing a few more curveballs this year, a few more changeups, trying to mix up the league, not be predictable.
Starts Forsythe with the ball. Faced the Dodgers on April 10th in Chicago. Held them to a run over 6 innings and a no decision. Faced them twice in the National League Championship Series last year, and you saw on the page we showed when we introduced him, he was a co-MVP of that series. 1 run over 6 innings in Game 1. 1 run over 7 innings and a win in Game 5. 2-1 on Forsythe. Two and two. Logan just 1 for 12 since coming off of the disabled list with the broken toe and then the ensuing hamstring tweak. Now 1 hit, though, a big one. A game-winning hit in the 13th inning against St. Louis. Hard hit to short. Addison Russell sure-handed for the first out. Cubs defense today brought to you by Keck Medicine of USC, and David Ross was the personal catcher to John Lester the last couple of years in Chicago, but Ross now retired, dancing with the stars and all that. And Wilson Contreras now the guy behind the plate.
And his last at bat in the big leagues was a home run, David Ross. He's had a fine retirement already. Got to enjoy the different ceremonies in Chicago to celebrate the World Championship.
Here's Seager. He's got to be the most successful third-string catcher post-playing career in history already, and he's been post-playing career for like 6 months.
He's not a nicer guy either. You can see why he got to stick around for so long with the Cubs and other organizations as a guy who could really usher in a new catcher or really show a pitching staff how to get things done. You know, for the Dodger fans, it would remind you somebody like an A.J. Ellis. Joe Madden absolutely loves the man, and so do the whole Cubs roster.
Ross debuted as a Dodger many years ago. Seager takes a strike, 2-1. Hit his first career home run off of Mark Grace.
Wow.
Grace was pitching in a in mop-up duty while he was in Arizona. Yeah. Now 2-1. Seager looks at ball 3.
Might be the only home run that Mark Grace ever gave up.
I would say that's a good bet, yeah. In fact, I'm going to confirm it without even looking and then pay the price if I'm wrong. But
there goes your Twitter account.
That's foul, and the count's full.
You can gain a lot of new followers by just saying crazy stuff that's unconfirmed. And you know what? A lot of the stuff in response is crazy stuff that's unconfirmed.
Scoreless in the first. Lester to Seager with a 3-2. And Corey yanks a base hit into right field.
Take a look at the Audi pitch cast as Corey Seager finds the hole between first and second on that fastball in for a ball. Another left-handed hitter trying to be jammed by a left-handed pitcher.
Brings up Chris Taylor, who for the first time in his major league career bats third. There've been a lot of firsts for Chris over the last year. His first career home run, his first career grand slam, his first career really everyday opportunity. First time in his career people are recognizing him as well. He's kind of becoming a name around here. Takes ball one. It's a great anecdote in the paper this morning that recently at a post-game meal at Buffalo Wild Wings, brought him the bill and said, hey, don't worry about this. It's covered, taken care of. Never happened in Seattle for him.
If that's going to continue to happen, he should go to more expensive restaurants.
Take advantage. Waits on this one, sends it in the air to right. Hayward back. Out number 2.
A little different here today. Mid-afternoon game yesterday. Ball doesn't carry quite as much as it will in this day game. And then the first game of this series, a night game, you saw Jason take a little bit of a J route there as this ball continues to carry.
Hey, here's news. Puig is pinch hitting for Franklin Gutierrez, who was making the first start in a couple of weeks today and left, and didn't look totally right coming in on that pop-up that fell in for a base hit. I don't know if you thought the same thing.
Yeah, I thought he got a bad jump, but we had just moved on because of the broken bats in first and second. No out.
So Puig finds himself suddenly in the lineup from the start. Swings away and misses. The reason that Dave Roberts gave him a day off was the night game followed by the day game and the fact that he's only 1 for 5 against Lester lifetime. Flip the switch, Yasiel. Off day becomes a day in the lineup against the 3-time world champ. 1-1.
It might relax Yasiel, where all of a sudden it's a surprise semi-start. As we take a look at Gutierrez coming in right here, and he just kind of pulls up a little bit there, but it's almost like a pull-up, like I'm not going to get there anyway, I'll play it safe, not let it get by me. So I didn't really recognize something there.
One and two.
But with the surprise semi-start here for Yasiel, you know, really has a net under his day where he's not expected to succeed, at least in this at-bat, to get all of a sudden called on so early. Most bench players, they start to get loose, you know, 4th inning on, 5th inning on. It's not that you're not ready, but you're in a different mode. Some of them will go down underneath the tunnel and hit in the cage a little later in the game to get ready for possible pinch hit appearance. They might watch the bullpen action to see who they might face the way the game's going, according to Cubs are ahead or the Cubs are behind.
Brett Eibner's starting in right. Let's see if they flip Eibner over to left with Puig now in the game.
I think that's a good point.
That ball's lifted to left, put off the end of the bat. Out goes Russell. On comes Happ to put away and end the inning. Dodgers get a 1-out single from Seager, but nothing else. And after an inning, no score. over to left field. Yeah, that flanks Chris Taylor in center, his 5th consecutive start there. Dodgers defense brought to you by Keck Medicine of USC. And 4 games deep, and he continues to not just be okay, he's making great plays.
4 games deep, 4 different positions. This is the 2nd pitch that he played in center field. Dexter Fowler hit one out there, and then this is a little later in that same game, 1st game in center field. Chris Taylor showing he can go back and come in.
And a nice throw yesterday. They got Ian Happ over sliding second, popping off with a bag. Wilson Contreras leads off the 2nd against Kershaw. Ball 1. Back-to-back broken bat singles on the first 2 pitches of the 1st inning, but then Kershaw retired the next 3. So the Cubs bringing 6, 7, and 8 up here in the 2nd. A curve for strike 2.
That is the same one we saw in his last start against the Cardinals. This has got severe break at the end. The finish on that, it's almost like hitting a slow pitch softball with no arc rule.
And whizzes a fastball at 95, and the count's 2-2.
Both these pitchers today can change speeds. They both are bottoming out at about 74 miles an hour, and John Lester topped out at 92, and now Clayton just went up to 95. It's a pretty big range of speeds for hitters to hit.
Back to the curve and a ground ball foul.
Who did you say said if he has his curveball, turn out the lights?
Montero. Wow. Go home, turn off the lights.
That's 2 out of 3 pitches. It looked pretty good.
You said it's a day game, so it shouldn't be turn off the lights and go home. Maybe it's the other way around. Go home, turn off the lights, and just sit in sorrow. Full count.
Clayton's last outing a complete game, but well, it wasn't a complete game, but it was 9 innings. 1 wild pitch in the 9th. They gave up the 1 run. Left the game 1-1. The Dodgers won an extra inning 2-1. John Lester threw 9. Threw 99 pitches for a complete game. Clayton threw 104 against the Cardinals. Lester's was against the Giants. Both these lefties are on their game, coming into this game with a lot of confidence and feeling good about all their pitches.
2 of the top 4 active left-handers in wins. Everybody chasing CC. Contreras really making Kershaw work here opening the 2nd. Young catcher. Debuted last season, hit a home run on his very first at bat. In fact, the very first pitch of that first at bat, he went deep. There's another payoff. And another ball hit foul that Bellinger won't get to. Next pitch will be the 10th. As Contreras has hit 4 of them foul against Clayton. Another foul ball. And a guy that they rave about his love of the game. Remember, told the story when we were in Chicago, but he tried out for Cub Scouts on a Monday when he was in Venezuela as a teenager. He signed that day, so he's all set. Next morning, though, the Scouts go to another city for another tryout, and he was the first guy to show up. Did it for 5 consecutive days. Another ground ball foul. 5 consecutive days, 5 different cities in Venezuela, driving himself, even though he'd already signed. Go home and relax at this point. You got your deal, but said, sorry, guys, I want to play. I love baseball. drives one to deep right center field. Puig turns, and that ball is gone. That might be the single best at-bat of Wilson Contreras' career. And the Cubs have their first run of the series.
Shortstop number 27, Addison Russell.
He did not swing hard. He let Clayton supply the power, wanted to go in, threw it away at 94, and he just stays behind this and swings smooth. Let's go the top hand on the follow through, but that was a pretty swing.
Fouled off 6 pitches. That home run came on the 12th pitch of the AB. Now Russell. Grounded to third, Forsythe. So after the 12th pitch at bat finishes in a homer, 1 pitch to get Russell on a ground out.
The hitters meeting for the Cubs shouldn't have been very long. It seems like they just told him, let's attack one of the first 2 pitches, and then after that, battle. Because if he gets to the curveball or he gets to the really good slider, you're going to be in trouble. So hit something when he's trying to get ahead.
23-year-old Albert Almora Jr. And he hammers a base hit to left. First hit of the series for Almora. A 1-out base runner for John Lester.
Again, first pitch hacking. And a nice swing. Trying to come in, left it down the middle. And if you know the bat is moving, you could change your strategy on an 0-0 count, and the Cubs have definitely done that.
So Lester comes up. Set a major league record by going his first 67 career at-bats without a hit. Finally got an infield single a couple years back. Ball on a strike.
Buster Olney wrote an article about if Clayton Kershaw never threw another pitch again, he would be a Hall of Famer. He might be facing a future Hall of Famer in John Lester at the plate. Clayton probably already in, and Lester still working to that part of the resume.
Lays down a bunt. Some miscommunication between Barnes and Kershaw, and they just barely get Lester.
I can't hear what they said to each other or what Barnes was saying as he came out, but definitely Barnes hit his chest protector after this and said, "My bad." And unfortunately, John Lester just giving it a jog down there, saving his energy with a 1-0 lead on Clayton Kershaw.
So Almora moves into scoring position, and 2 away for the top of the order, and Javier Baez cracked his bat and a single to center on the first pitch of the game. Ball 1.
Yeah, you look up there and you go an inning and a third, and Clayton Kershaw's given up 4 hits. One's a home run, yes. The other 2 of them, 2 out of 3, are just broken bat shatters.
It's a strike, 1-1. And the Cubs over the first 2 games of this series, as we showed a moment ago, 5 hits. And already those 4 today. Will be no third consecutive shutout. They hadn't been shut out in 3 straight games in 25 years. They go back to 1992. Runner at second and 2 gone, and a 1-1. Baez pulls it to third. It gets by Forsythe. His throw to first is not in time. So an error on Forsythe opens the door for runners at the corners situation for Bryant.
Game seems a little sloppy so far right here for the Dodgers. A little mix-up in communication with Austin Barnes and Clayton Kershaw on the bunt. Fortunate to record an out with Lester running, and now that ball to Forsythe.
Ryan got his first hit of the weekend, his first time up on a bloop to left. Bottom of the zone, strike one.
Little cutter. Got the call. It's hard to differentiate between the cutter and the slider now, because sometimes that slider is hard and doesn't break as much as it did last year.
Barnes keeps it in front of him. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Austin Barnes, not the biggest guy in the world, but very, very quick. When he goes to his knees, there's not a lot of body there to block it. He has to be very accurate with where he drops down.
Sets the glove outside, watches Kershaw fire to first.
Only 38 pitches, and I know we're not even out of the second, so that would be too many for Clayton, but a lot of high leverage pitches. Really had to go to the well.
1-2. Cubs left him at the corners in the first inning. And got a leadoff homer from Contreras here in the second. Followed that with a single from Almora. Baez reaching on a Forsythe error. Kershaw trying to limit the damage. Runners at the corners and 2 gone. And a 1-2 to the former MVP. Ball 2.
We just had a shot at Joe Madden. I'm surprised, you know, all the different things that they do, the dress ups on the plane flights and all the things he does to lighten the mood for a long 162 game season. I'm surprised after they scored the run they didn't ask for the ball.
You could hear that dugout having some fun though during the AB as the foul balls racked up. Full count.
Wrigley, they throw that ball back. Home runs in the opposing team. They had a chance to get it. Didn't happen here.
Almora is at third. Baez at first. Barnes wants it inside. Here comes a 3-2. And Kershaw gets Bryant swinging with a back foot tight slider or cutter. They get 1 and the home run from Contreras. 1-0 middle 2. The second for the Dodgers. We take a look at the Land Rover Performance Spotlight. This is crazy. 18 of his 24 hits this year have gone for extra bases after his fourth inning double yesterday.
He has tremendous bat speed, and his problem has been, you know, the contact and hitting it solid. But when he does hit it solid, he can hit it a long way.
There's a home run against Lester in his career. Shows bunt here. Right after we talk about him having power. Shows bunt. Strike one.
Looked like he's just trying to change the defense. So, and it's not a bad idea. You think about John Lester throwing your fastball in for right-handed hitter and your cutter in, and you think you might be hitting hard ground balls or line drives to the third baseman. You'd love to get him in, affect his range. So it's not a bad deke, really, to change the defense a little bit, give yourself a little bit more margin for error on getting a hit.
On 2-1. He hits it foul, and it's 2-2. Still not a big guy, but when he was a junior in high school, Kike was only 5'6". 5 inches when he was a senior. Hit enough to get drafted in the 6th round by the Houston Astros. Waits on a 2-2. Takes ball 3. Debuted with the Astros, then to the Marlins. Into the Dodgers. Now in his 4th major league season. Against John Lester, 33 years old, out of Tacoma, Washington. He's been in the majors for more than a decade. Most of that with Boston. Oakland for a few months. 3rd year of a 6-year pact with the Cubs. A leadoff walk for Hernandez. MLB.com At Bat is your #1 mobile app for live Dodger baseball. You can stay connected with a fully customizable experience. Get Dodger home screen icons and app features, as well as game day, live game video highlights, and plenty more. Download MLB.com At Bat today. You have yours up to check the Rockies and Diamondbacks scores?
I have not, but I always have it up. We like to check those exit velocities and launch angles. That's a lot of fun on there.
Yeah, go to the feed tab when you have game day pulled up to do that. Austin Barnes takes strike 1. To the Dodgers with a base runner against Lester, and it happens to be Kike Hernandez, who, if you recall from last postseason, was getting into sprinter stances, was almost dancing away from first because of John Lester's inability to throw there. It's well documented at this point. That's a ball. It's 1-1.
Dancing around over there, and he was actually interviewed about this during the series and then again this year with Lester being on the mound today, and talked about, I was just trying to distract them. Well, some of these leads are so long, it's way past distracting. You better go.
To the back door for a strike. Dodgers didn't steal any bases against him, even with those leads. And it feels like, by looking at the statistics, the window to take advantage of his issues is closed. Opponents are 6 for 14 trying to steal this year. Barnes leaves it up and the count evens. So 6 for 14 this year, Oral. The last 2 years, 72 steals against him.
Well, Joe Madden said when John Lester came over to the Cubs that let's not talk about what he can't do, let's talk about what he can do. So he can vary the times to the plate as far as holding the ball and freezing the runner, which you do with all excellent base runners, but John needs to do it with everybody. And the other thing he can do, which he does very well, is he's quick to the plate, his release time. And then if you have a good enough catcher and you're quick to the plate, it almost doesn't matter how big the lead is. And if the lead gets so out of the ordinary, you can always step off and reboot the computer.
Barnes shoots one into short right, a teardrop base hit. Hernandez holds on at second. 2 on with nobody out here in the second.
It was a nice read by Kike Hernandez as far as breaking on this blooper, not then getting a force out at second base, but remembering that Jason Hayward is out there in right field. Good job also by not continuing on to third, because Hayward is accurate and very strong out there in right field. So a little of both for Kike. Some good base running and kind of turn around his fair play with the Dodgers blooping one in.
That said, though, I mean, Lester still has these issues.
Yep.
Hernandez had that lead, and on a 3-2 pitch didn't run.
That's true.
Here's Bellinger. Shows bunt, takes a strike.
Yeah, you'd think that 3-2 no out, a pitcher that doesn't pick off at all, that you would maybe start, but they didn't want a line drive double play, I guess. They're going to let the hitter or the pitcher, John Lester, set the table.
And set it is for Bellinger, hitting out of the 7 spot today. Walked 3 times in yesterday's game. Still looking for his first hit of the weekend. Waits on this 0-1. Strike 2. Leaves that slider down and away for a ball. Breaking ball lifted in the air. Right center field. Cody Bellinger has launched a 3-run home run. Already his 10th.
Pegged as a pitcher's duel, but now 2 home runs makes the score 3-1, and it's Dodgers on top. Bellinger in this at bat looked like he was maybe sitting on something soft. Took a couple of hard pitches, then a slider away, and then the curveball he pounded.
Ball one on Eibner. It came with 2 strikes.
He does not cut down his swing, no matter what the count.
Eibner now off the end of the bat to center. It's Almora for the first out of the inning.
Let's take a look at Cody Bellinger's home run on this Morongo Casino slow-mo cam. A slow curveball that he goes down and lifts out of the park. And he has made that trek around the bases quite often since coming up to the big leagues.
First time he's taken Lester deep in his first at bat against him. Kershaw. That's a strike. Cody Bellinger now 10 home runs, 28 driven in 31 games. Quick work of Kershaw, and Lester has his first punch out.
I thought you had a good conversation with Turner Ward talking about Cody Bellinger and his average dropping from close to 400.
Yeah, I mean, first, 2-3 weeks, he's hitting 370, whatever it is, hitting these home runs like you expect. And then it felt like the last couple weeks, striking out a lot, that average dipping. Came into the game with the average at 273, and you begin to allow your mind to go, well, what's been wrong with Kody lately? Logan Forsythe takes a ball. Or what adjustment has the league made? Because you always see that against rookies. And Turner said it doesn't look like the league has made a consistent adjustment. It's not like they've exposed anything. It's simply that Cody Bellinger, even as a minor leaguer, was a .270 hitter that would hit for power. And so things are just kind of regressing to normal.
At .270 hitters anywhere, they hit .400 for 10 days, and then the next 7 days they maybe only scratch out 1 or 2, and they go back to .270. And it doesn't like, oh, .270, you're going to get exactly the right amount throughout your career. No, it's ups and downs that take you there.
And .270 with the kind of power Cody's hitting for is an all-star every year.
It's damage. It's the rare guy like the guy on deck, Seager, that seems to hit the ball hard 3 out of 4 times a night, and gap to gap plus the power.
Forsythe flips it to center. Almora is there, and the inning is over. But Cody Bellinger takes off. His team leading 10th of the season. He's knocked in a team leading 28. And the Dodgers lead the Cubs after 2. Bellinger, a homer for the Dodgers, and Clayton Kershaw with 2 punch-outs over the first 2 innings, now within 8 of 2,000. Anthony Rizzo taking ball 1 off of the inside. Kershaw would be the 3rd fastest to reach 2,000 strikeouts. Only Pedro Martinez and Randy Johnson got there in fewer innings than it looks like Clayton will. Little dribbler foul, and it's 1-1. There are 3 Dodgers that have reached the 2,000 strikeout club in Dodger uniforms, that is. Sutton, Drysdale, and Koufax. Guy sitting next to me did it, but across a few different organizations.
That doesn't count.
Sure it does.
Yeah.
Just not in that category.
Right.
A ball and 2 strikes on Rizzo. Kershaw pounded in the first time, and he's doing the same here.
Just think about watching him here pitch at Dodger Stadium, how special it is and how dominant he's been here and other places.
Rizzo, nice piece of 2-strike hitting, sinks it in front of Eibner and left for a leadoff single. And we look at our Coors Light cold hard facts, talking about the dominance in this ballpark among left-handed pitchers across the board, though. So active winning percentages among those lefties. We've got 2 of the top 3 in the game facing off.
They both are fantastic, and they both do it a little bit about the same way. Clayton's curveball a little bit more pronounced, but mid-90s pitchers with fastballs and cutters. Changeup that's not Clayton's, but sometimes with John. Can you imagine, though, when Clayton is all done, that the plaque, the statue, all the different things and what it's going to read? It's mind-boggling what he's accomplished already, and he still has pretty much a half a career left.
A strike one on Ian Happ. They're going to need the guy that writes the medicine, writes on pills. They're going to need him to do the plaque to fit everything. 1-1.
And he doesn't stop and think about it for a moment. He says, you know what, that'll be something when it's all over that I'll get to look back on. But right now, I've got another outing today and then 4 days from now.
Slider under the bat of Happ. That's how he struck him out his first time. 1-2.
He has thrown some sliders with depth at 89 and 90 that we haven't seen this year.
Went to it again, fouled off.
That one has better downward movement, getting out front on it a little bit more, getting more on top of the baseball. And you can throw a slider at 90 miles an hour. That means he probably can throw a fastball at 97 or 98, but he just doesn't choose to go there. But when your hand is coming over the top of it and slightly around the ball, you're not putting full arm speed into it.
Yeah, he has said that when he came into the league, he tried to strike everybody out and wasn't able to go too deep into games because of that. First season, he went 7 only twice. Since then, he's done it more than 70% of his outings.
Three pitch at bat, 4 pitch at bats are the norm. Will he get you out early or you'll get a hit early? Yeah, when you're the Cubs lineup like today and you're hacking at the first pitch or two, you can go through a lineup like a hot knife through butter if they're swinging at the first pitch or two and you're getting them out.
Curve yanked foul.
Today the Cubs have found some outfield grass with a couple broken bats and they've hit some balls hard early in the count, and then some other at bats they've made him really work hard. And here they are, they've got 52 pitches out of him. So in some ways the Cubs are winning the battle as far as just against Clayton Kershaw.
Back to the slider to finish off Happ. I think this is the best we've seen that slider this year.
This is the one we saw most of last year, 88 miles an hour, and look at how much this ball breaks. It starts like it's a fastball on the outer half and it ends up at the back knee of Happ. That's unhittable. Ridiculous movement, ridiculous velocity, and the location was perfect.
It's like, you know, we go into games, or series, we don't want to burn all our stories right away, kind of spread them throughout the series. You don't want to burn all your superlatives calling one Kershaw pitch because you know you're going to need a few more. Hayward hits the first one foul. How about a full season of calling these games? You run out of ways to describe what he's doing.
Yeah, it's numbing. It really is. And I just stare at the monitor or watch the game and just smile. And just think I am watching history. I'm seeing the best of the best of the best.
Buries one to Hayward, and it's 1-1.
And others have done it well for a game or for a week or a month or a season, but he is really accumulating these numbers, and just because he's so consistent.
A shattered bat pop into foul territory. Bellinger battling the sun, pulls it in. 2 out. That wasn't easy.
We got to take a look at the Volkswagen replay here. Clayton Kershaw dropping down. Learned this from Rich Hill. Comes over as a teammate. He says, I'll try a few of those. And then Cody Bellinger doing a great job with the glove. And oh yeah, remember the 3-run homer Thank you, Volkswagen, for that replay. Glad the pop-up was over there by the warning track, because the bat was right where he ended up, right where he was playing.
Yeah, killed 2 birds with 1 stone moving away there.
That's one bat.
Yeah, right. Well done.
I'm here if you need me.
Appreciate you. Contreras back up there. His home run, accounting for the Cubs scoring. Takes off of the inside, ball 1.
So that's 94. That's the cutter. When it's hard to distinguish, you can just go by the movement and that velocity up there above 90.
That's a strike, 1-1.
And that's the weird part about grading pitches. We see all the pitches break down, and oh, he threw this many cutters, this many fastballs, this many sliders. Really hard. The people that are actually grading them have come to us at times and said, so what are you seeing? What should we grade it? Well, there's one at 93 and one at 94. One broke a little bit bigger. They both cut, and I bet you the signal from Austin was fastball.
So you're saying just natural movement to it?
Yeah, I think his 4-seam fastball, he stays behind and slightly to the outer half of the ball, the arm side half of the ball, and kind of tilts it a little tiny bit, like Kenley Jansen, like Mariano Rivera. His fastball is a fastball that cuts, and he can decide, I'm going to cut it a little more so it's not going to be as hard, or I'm going to throw it a little straighter and keep it on the plate. The arm side fastball, which is outside to a right-handed hitter, it sometimes is very straight, and sometimes he'll throw it and try and backdoor the cutter out there.
Two and two.
Like right there.
Uh-huh.
Nice of him to help the broadcast.
He's looking out for you, Oral.
He would like to get an out quickly. That pitch count at 60, and he doesn't like to go much short of 7 innings.
Rizzo at first with 2 away. Contreras rolls it softly to short. Seager charges, gets rid of it late. Contreras has an infield single. So 2 hits against Kershaw for Contreras. 1 leaves the yard. 1 fails to leave the infield.
27, Addison Russell.
Frustration for Clayton Kershaw as this becomes an infield single. There's nothing Corey Seager can do. But the home run is one thing, but the broken bats and now an infield single, that's a frustrating thing for Clayton. It's one of the biggest things that he admires about what he accomplishes is not the stats as much as it is being on the mound every 5th day and being out there for at least 7 innings.
2 on, 2 out, and Addison Russell, the batter. Grounded out to third his first time, and is hitless against Kershaw in his career in 7 tries. Rizzo at second, Contreras at first, and Kershaw to the plate with an 0-1. Falls out of the sky, but just misses. Ball 1.
Start this year. Pitch count at 64 here in the 3rd. You got to look at how many will he throw. Well, he's been at a high of 118, and 5 times he's broken through that 100 mark. So about half of his starts.
Falling behind Russell, 3-1. Guy that hit 21 homers last year, drove in more RBIs than any Cub shortstop since Ernie Banks in the 1960s. Having a hard time duplicating those numbers this year so far. Hitters count against most pitchers. 3-2 on Addison Russell. Cubs have had 6 hits. They've had a man reach on an error, but only 1 run to show for it. 2 on, 2 out. 3-2 in the dirt, and they're loaded up. Kershaw's first walk of the afternoon. Now we'll have to deal with Albert Almora.
Not a bad time to give him a little rest out there. He's worked awfully hard to get these 2 2/3, looking to keep the Cubs at 1 run. Rick Honeycutt recognizing that and trotting out. A lot of respect is given to Clayton as far as mound visits. Leave him in his zone and make sure the first thing you say to him is something you actually help him with. Because he's always kind of in a bitter mood when it comes to the day that he's pitching. He's so in his game face and competing that you don't want to go out there and set him off.
Two very un-Kershaw-like numbers there in the second and in the third. Next pitch will make it a second consecutive 26-pitch inning. He averages on the year 13 pitches per inning. Almora hit a solid single against him on the first pitch that he saw last inning. And in a big spot here in the third, climbs in. Slider for strike 1.
Hit an up fastball that was supposed to be in, but ended up on the outer half in the first at bat. Made that one look like a fastball, end up a ball.
Barnes with a nice stop. 1 ball and 1 strike. For me, these are the situations where Kershaw has begun to widen the gap from the rest of the competition. That is when there's finally something mounted against him. When he finally kind of has his back against the wall, rarely does he crack. Almora trying to change that here with the bases loaded. A bouncing ball to third. It's a fair ball, and the inning is over. Cubs leave them loaded, and the Dodgers maintain a 3-1 lead. Cubs for the first time in 5 seasons. They have a 3-1 lead, and we welcome inside Joe Davis and Ole Hershiser, and once again Clayton Kershaw, even though he bends some, doesn't break.
Yeah, 70 pitches, so the Cubs are accomplishing something. He probably won't be around for 8 or 9 innings, but you're going to bring in the #1 bullpen in the National League for the Dodgers that pitched so well, and with great relief work from Ryu lately and Stripling lately, it is a well-rested bullpen behind Clayton Kershaw.
Dodgers have this lead on a home run from Cody Bellinger. Corey Seager singled his first time against Lester, who delivers and misses inside, ball 1. 3 for 7 in the series for the reigning Rookie of the Year. 2-0.
In the last inning, you said this is where Clayton Kershaw widens the gap with everybody else when he's in trouble. Finally, well, as a starter this year, he's got the #1 batting average against with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. 151. Just lowered that.
And without looking, I would imagine that the career number in that category is among the all-time greats.
I think it has to be with all the things that he does with whip and being career ERA the lowest.
Crack bat flare into shallow center field, and Corey Seager's 2 for 2. Saw Franklin Gutierrez leave the game earlier for Puig, and Alana Rizzo has the reason why.
Well, guys, we thought perhaps he hurt himself trying to field that pop-up from Chris Bryant in the first inning. That's not what we're hearing. Dodgers PR saying that he left the game with an illness.
All right, Alana, appreciate the update on Franklin. You feel for him, just hasn't been able to get right yet this year with the hamstring and then the hip. And the illness that he deals with on an everyday basis with a form of arthritis in his spine. Leadoff man aboard, Chris Taylor the batter. Joe's bunt takes a low strike.
You really pull for Franklin Gutierrez too. Everything that he has done to reinvent his career. Such a fine gentleman and a guy you just hope can find that health so he can get here and be the left-handed killer that the Dodgers signed.
It's foul, and it's 0-2.
Blue hits are about even now for the Dodgers and the Cubs.
That's true.
Barnes had a soft one. Corey Seager just got a soft one.
Ten total hits in the game, and out of those 10 hits, 7 of them have been technically softly hit, below league average on the exit velocity. Gets him with a breaking ball, and Taylor's the first out of the inning.
Number 66, Yasiel Puig.
It's a cutter right here. Thrown it about 5 times in the game. 2 swings and misses, John Lester. That's not the most effective pitch in the game. That would be Clayton Kershaw's slider. He's thrown it 14 times and gotten 7 swings and misses. Not surprising that his slider disappears from hitters.
Yasiel Puig now. Bouncing ball through for a base hit. Past the diving Russell. 2 on with 1 out.
Dodgers looking to add on. Yasiel thrusted into the game with Gutierrez's injury that Alana just told you. He went out with an illness. Now he's got a 1 for 2 and feeling pretty good about his day. Dodgers want to add on for Clayton Kershaw, but also extend the lead to give the bullpen some help, because Clayton is going to need some.
Cubs only 1 run, but they've run that pitch count of Kershaw's up. Here's Kike. Lester misses with the first one. Hernandez walked and scored on the Bellinger home run last inning. Contreras zipping one down to second, and that's the reason why he has 8 errors on the year. His willingness to let it fly.
He's got a bazooka, but the sights are a little off so far this year. That one just pulled it over. Like the bazooka also misfired. That wasn't thrown very hard either. Maybe lost the grip.
See if Hernandez gets one to punish. 2 on and 1 out. And a 2-0. Outside. 3 balls and no strikes.
2-0 fastball at 88 miles an hour for John Lester. His fastball velocity is down in this outing and a little bit down for the year.
Green light. High fly ball to left. Tap back. There it goes for Kike. And the Dodgers have busted it open against Lester. Three-run homers in back-to-back innings for the Dodgers. First Bellinger, then Hernandez, and it's 6-1.
Let's take a look at the Carl's Cam replay of this home run. Production throughout this Dodger lineup. This one, a 3-run blast from the 5-hole. Cody Bellinger's from the 7-hole. These kind of youngsters keep hitting for power. It's going to be a very long lineup as far as production and power.
Kike now, out of his 25 hits this year, has 19 for extra bases. Barnes a pop up into center for Albert Almora.
This Dodger offense, this could be their 4th win in a row. The offense has averaged over 5 runs a game, and here already in this game, before the 3rd is even over, they've gotten 6. Pitching staff has been exceptional in the 3 prior wins. The starters have had a clip of 1.69. And the bullpen hasn't given up a run, and they haven't even appeared in this game yet. This team is hot right now.
Won 8 of 10, best in the majors over the last month. Corresponding with this guy's call up. He's behind 0-2. His home run was his 10th, and it came in his 31st game, which means he's the fastest in Dodger history to reach 10 home runs by a long stretch.
So I guess you have to get outside the organization to see where it stands.
Down swinging here, and the inning is over. David Ross was the previous fastest at 44 games. Bellinger did it in 31. Kike Hernandez hits his own 3-run homer here, and it's 6-1 after 3. is brought to you by the Ram 1500 Rebel. Experience the power and toughness of Ram at your local dealer. And by Jack in the Box. Come try the new sweeter spicy barbecue bacon cheeseburger and chicken sandwich. Limited time only. Bellinger and Hernandez both with 3-run home runs against John Lester, who bats against Clayton Kershaw to start the 4th. Strike 1. Joe Davis, Or Hershiser, and Alana Rizzo on a picture-perfect day in Southern California. If you're enjoying your Memorial Day weekend, Dodgers finishing off a 10-game homestand here, trying to make it 9 out of their last 11 before they take off for St. Louis after the game. Two and two. Kershaw now within 6 strikeouts of 2,000 for his career.
Javier Baez.
That was almost offensive indifference right there from John Lester.
I like it. Back to the top and Baez. The Cubs have 4 first-round picks in the lineup today. Out of their 8 position players, they have 5 on the roster. In fact, their last 5 first-round picks all on this active roster right now. Baez was the first-round pick in 2011. Bryant, who hits next, was 2013. Then it's Happ, who was the pick 2 years ago. You've got Albert Almora hitting 8th. He was the first pick in 2012. And on the bench today, Kyle Schwarber was drafted in 2014 with the Cubs' first pick. They didn't have one last year. So their last 5 first-round selections all on the active roster. 2-1. And all hitters, which is a bit of a turn in philosophy within baseball. Theo Epstein, one of the first guys to look at it and say, man, there is a lot of good pitching right now. What's going to allow us to turn this around is going to be to draft the premium hitting prospects. Baez drills one left field and gone. His 8th and a 6-2 game. Well, if you had 4 home runs over the first 3+ against Kershaw and Lester, you're the only one.
That was on paper, maybe Stratomatic or a video game, but they play it for real in a Dodger game, on a day game, ball carrying, some mistakes up in the strike zone, and you got 4 bombs in a 6-2 game.
With 1 gone, it's Bryant, and he shakes the first one foul. You noticed before the game today that the wind was blowing out some, and creates kind of an interesting dynamic when you have 2 dominant pitchers going, but conditions that lead to the ball flying.
74 degrees here in LA today. Warm down there on the field, breeze blowing out. Hitters feel pretty good, other than the fact that the 2 guys on the bump were exceptional pitchers. They're making them both work, and they're making them both pay.
2-1 on Bryant. Well, home runs are a bit of an issue over the first month for Kershaw, but he hadn't allowed one in his last 3 starts. He's now allowed more than he did all of last season. 9 this year, had 8 a year ago. It's a full count. And the pitch count uncharacteristically very high, 84 through 3 1/3. A walk.
First baseman Anthony Rizzo.
Second one issued by Kershaw today, and Anthony Rizzo comes up in a 6-2 game in the 4th. One for 2 today, soft single himself. Ball 1. High fly ball to right field, and Rizzo has gone deep. The Cubs are right back in this game.
Pitching him in the whole day, and it looks like Rizzo said enough is enough, get out of my kitchen, but that ball didn't get to the kitchen. That was more in the hallway right down the middle. It's a no doubter right there. 5 home runs today.
Now Happ grounds one foul. This is only the 4th time in Kershaw's career that he's allowed 3 home runs in a game. 2nd time this year, happened at Colorado earlier. 10 runs, all off of the long ball. Happ bunts one foul, and it's 0-2. Cubs fans starting to make some noise, trying to start a "Let's Go Cubbies" chant. They always travel well. Dodger fans quickly drowning them out. One ball and 2 strikes on the rookie Happ. Wanted that one, 2-2.
He is allowed to be human, but he's still out there battling. A lot of times, outings like this, they don't have to be losses.
Strikes out Happ, his 5th of the day, 2 gone.
Some days you're going to give up runs, but you just never give up, as he hits the 1,995 mark as far as strikeouts in his career.
Now within 5 of becoming the 4th Dodger to reach the 2,000 strikeout plateau. 2 outs, bases empty in a 6-4 game, and it's Jason Hayward. Strike 1. Hayward 0 for 2 today. A 6-game hitting streak snapped yesterday with an 0 for 3. Those are all 6 games since he'd come back from the DL on him with a sprained finger. That's up, and it's 1-1. Completely rebuilt his swing this offseason. Moved to Arizona so he could be closer to the hitting coaches, the mental coach that the Cubs employ. Worked every day starting in December. A line drive Base hit into center.
Well, he's really good when he can extend his arms. The league has pounded him in for years, and he just couldn't get to it. Hands now a little farther away from his body, freeing up. They look closer as he goes to swing, but really that's just the upper half coiling that makes the center field camera look like his hands are close to his body. He's trying to keep him a little bit more extended, free him up so he can get through the ball, and if the ball's in, he can actually pull the hands through.
Rick Honeycutt calling down to that bullpen here in the 4th inning in a 6-4 game. Kershaw against Contreras, who hit the first of the 3 Cubs home runs back in the 2nd. Strike one. You know, a lot of times when guys overhaul a swing the way Hayward did, it becomes so mechanical that the mental side of it becomes as big as anything. And he said the real turning point is when that new swing became muscle memory, became second nature, so he could then get back to focusing more on approach, less on the mechanics. Oh, 0-2.
Muscle memory, the shorthand for neuro pathway training.
Dr. Hershiser.
Muscles don't have memories. But your brain has a memory of how to fire them in the correct order, and that's what you're learning. And so when you're making changes in a sport or something else you want to do, it should feel awkward at first because the brain's taking a new path.
Fields is warming. This one's going to be up to the bullpen for the Dodgers. Thanks to 2 3-run homers, one from Bellinger and one from Hernandez. The pen will be trying to protect the lead, assuming Kershaw can finish this thing right here. Ball 1. Ninth pitch of the day. Finishes off Contreras. Kershaw with his 6th punch out. But the Cubs use the home run to get back into the game. A solo shot from Baez and a 2-run shot from Rizzo.
Sunday, as Major League Baseball continues to celebrate those that have honored us with their military service, and we also pay tribute to those that have paid the ultimate sacrifice on this Memorial Day. And all Major League Baseball is wearing Memorial Day fitted gear, as you can see, guys, with the hats and the uniforms. If you look on the side of the hat as well as on the right sleeve of the uniforms, you'll see the 5 stars there. That's for the 5 branches of military service. Guys will be wearing these today, of course, as well as tomorrow, as we continue to honor those guys.
All right, Alana. 6-4 game on to the bottom of the 4th. Brett Eibner leading off against John Lester, taking ball 1. Between innings, Dave Roberts and Clayton Kershaw chatting. He's thrown 99 pitches. Cubs made him work and hammered 3 home runs. But on deck, Eibner with a ground ball to short. Addison Russell. So, not sure if he talked himself into staying in the game, but either way, here he is.
Number 22.
It goes without saying that he has earned the respect of everyone. If he wants to stay in and try and get a possible W, you let him. But I'm sure the conversation was mostly about how do you feel? Any aches or pains? You've worked awfully hard for 4 innings. You've got to be honest with us. Clayton said, I feel fine. I want to keep going. There will be a line. I don't think they'll let him go past 120 because you pitch 118 pitches, which he's done this year. But it's over a longer period of time than 5 innings. And so sometimes it's the ups that get you tired and stiff, and sometimes it's the pitches, and sometimes it's the mechanics because you're just not real efficient with your body and you stumble on some aches and pains.
Little flare, short left. On comes Happ to dive and smothered it. It's a base hit for Kershaw. So maybe it wasn't his pitching, but his hitting that kept him in the game.
With benches nowadays, you can see pitchers hit for themselves and then not to get to take the mound. I don't think that's the situation here, but with 4-man benches and 5-man benches, sometimes managers will elect to let their pitcher hit and then bring somebody else in. But I'm not sure if Clayton Kershaw wants to be on the base now or resting, and I'm not sure what Dave Roberts or Rick Honeycutt would say about that.
What would you say?
I would rather be in the dugout resting, but if Logan hits a home run, it'd be nice to jog around and score.
Strike 1. It would be Forsythe's first in a Dodger uniform. 0 for 2 today and 1 for 14 since the DL stint. Down the right field line. That is just foul. Dodgers have won 8 of their last 10. They start the day in 3rd in the West. Game and a half back of the Rockies, who were shut out yesterday by the Cardinals. Bottom of the 8th inning in Denver right now. Rockies lead the Cardinals 6-3. Already finaled in Milwaukee, where the Brewers took down the Diamondbacks for the 2nd day in a row. That's a ball. It's 1-2. Mike Montgomery. Oh, look out. Not often you see anything fun in the bullpen camera. Twice in this series we have. We just saw a ball almost drill the bullpen coach. Earlier in this series, we saw Nomar Garciaparra in full suit walking through the bullpen. Him or a ghost? Two and two on Logan. In a 6-4 game in the 4th. With Arizona's loss, by the way, the Dodgers now tied with the Diamondbacks. The team's looking up at the Rockies. John Lester so far today only 2 Ks. He's walked 1. Given Giving up 7 hits, for the big ones, home runs. 1 from Bellinger, 1 from Hernandez. Another 2-2. That's up, and the count is full on Forsythe. Tacoma, Washington native John Lester. Big time outdoorsman. Loves to hunt, loves to fish. Here's his payoff. It's hit foul. Now Lester signed that 6-year, $155 million deal instead of signing with the Giants. A lot of people thought that he would go to San Francisco. Cubs pulled on a full court press to get him there. That's a walk. The Dodgers trying to respond to the 3-run top of the inning. 2 on with 1 out.
From Ebbets Field to Dodger Stadium, the history of our boys in blue is timeless. Show your historical pride with a Brooklyn cap on Monday, June 19th, when the Dodgers host the New York Mets. You'll get one courtesy of Bank of America and available to the first 40,000 fans in attendance. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions.
Speaking of the Mets, they are a mess.
That's not nice.
Well, they're a mess. I'm not being not nice. I'm just telling you they're 20-27.
That's
starting
a mess.
rotation is the worst in the National League.
Wow, you'd never predict that.
John Lester coming out of the game at 76 pitches. That's interesting.
The fastball velocity was down also today. We saw some around 88 miles an hour.
They go to Mike Montgomery, but a 4-inning save his last time. Native comes into the game. It's been a nice pickup for the Cubs. And he's in a spot here where they could use some length like he gave him his last time. A 4-inning save against San Francisco last week.
Only 2 days rest, but coming off of 41 pitches. So he went 4 innings against the Giants in 41 pitches. John Lester took 76 just for 3 1/3 here, just in comparison to see how John got roughed up today. Clayton Kershaw trying to hang in there, standing at second base for a W, possibly. He can maintain the lead next inning, and then the bullpen would probably follow him up.
Montgomery on to face Seager with 2 on and 1 out, and Corey fouls the first pitch. Montgomery made famous by getting the save in Game 7 of the World Series. That was his first career save. And then his first career regular season save in that game he mentioned against the Giants. Good stop, Contreras. 1 ball, 1 strike. Originally drafted in the first round by the Kansas City Royals and then onto the Tampa Bay Rays in the Wade Davis deal. Also involved Will Myers. Made his major league debut with the Mariners and came to the Cubs last year. 2-1 on Seager. So he was teammates with Corey's brother Kyle in Seattle. On 2-1 in the dirt, but he swings at it. It's 2-2.
Hard base hit today for Corey, and also a blooper to right field. Hasn't used the left side of the diamond yet.
Tries to lay off Camp. Montgomery gets him. And as a hitter, all you ask of the home plate umpire and Dan Iasonia is to at least use your base umpire.
Yeah, you could use him on this one, but boy, he went an awful long way. He needed help. Iasonia was right. But the frustration of a hitter and striking out, they're looking for some kind of relief there, or get rid of that anger.
Yeah.
Come on, you gotta check.
2 outs for Taylor. Drives one to right center field, takes off on Happ, who reaches up and catches it. Almora, beg your pardon, there in center. And in the inning, Dodgers get a couple of base runners, but no damage after 4, 6-4. Sportsnet LA is brought to you by your Southern California Toyota dealers. Toyota time is going on now. Get incredible deals on a fuel-efficient RAV4 hybrid. I'm not sure you could have a better day than we have here at Dodger Stadium today. High 70s, bright sunshine. Clayton Kershaw, although he and Lester not necessarily living up to the billing of the pitchers duel in this one. 10 runs on 16 hits, including 5 homers between the two.
That's why they play the game, and these guys have exceptional resumes, but today they went to battle, and there's still one man standing out there, and he has a lead, and he's trying to get 3 more outs and be on the hook for the W.
He's thrown 99 pitches, but he'll face the bottom third of the order here, and it begins with Addison Russell, who's never gotten a hit against him.
Clayton told Rick Honeycutt and Dave Roberts that he is fine, and now they're keeping their fingers crossed that he finishes fine.
And doesn't 5 innings out of your starter and so then 4 innings out of the bullpen feel a whole lot different than flipped? 4 out of your starter, 5 out of your pen. Russell drops one into right center to start this inning. No chance he'll test Puig.
Well, the decision for Dave Roberts just got a little tougher with that leadoff single on the 100th pitch from Clayton Kershaw. These Cubs have attacked first pitches all day long, and I really can't say all day long because we don't have an out here in the 5th. But early in this game they have, and Clayton with the head down and the frustration of giving up that knock.
On his 100th pitch of the night, now it's Almora, who's 1 for 2. Very bright night, 100th pitch of the day.
We've really improved the lights here at Dodger Stadium.
Curve for strike 2.
You have your manager's confidence, your pitching coach's confidence. The team absolutely loves having you on the mound, and now you feel the responsibility on your shoulders just to get them 3 more outs under what you assume is a pitch count of about 118, 120 or lower.
One and two.
Clayton came back from his shoulder injury in Australia. It wasn't shoulder, it was upper back. He really came back off the DL then and was super efficient. I think he needs to use that tact right here in this inning. You saw him pound the strike zone pitch after pitch after pitch, and I think that, knowing he was only going to get 80 or 90 pitches when he came off the DL then, really changed his philosophy of pitching, and he saw that even when they knew I was going to throw a strike, they still couldn't hit it. And so, boy, he really lived in the strike zone from that moment forward.
It's part of his evolution as a pitcher, like we were talking about earlier, where he said early on in his career tried to strike everybody out. Only went 7 innings twice in that first full season, but remarkably has gone 7 innings in more than 70% of his starts since. Russell, the leadoff man, singled. Kershaw home to Almora with a 2-2.
Clayton's always tried to not be conscious of statistics or what he's accomplishing, but he is very conscious of the pitch count because he hates to come out of the game. And so, in that being one of the #1 conscious thoughts of I'm going to make every start, I'm going to be out there for my team for at least 7 innings, he works against the clock as far as the clicks on the pitch counter.
Off of Kershaw, ricochets to Forsythe, and there will be no play. The Cubs have the tying run on with nobody out against him.
Pitcher number 38, Mike Montgomery.
We've seen him make plays between his legs, behind his back. We've seen him do kick saves, but this one turns into the worst kind, a deflection for a hit. The defender was there behind him. His glove was there, but his heel was first.
This is the first time in Kershaw's career that he's allowed 10 hits at Dodger Stadium. The 11 hits now with that infield single matches a career high. Twice at Colorado, twice at Arizona, he's allowed double-digit hits. Never here until now. Montgomery up there to bunt, and he does the first one foul.
Gives Clayton a gift. That was a ball. You try and train yourself as a bunter when you square around to have the bat at the top of the strike zone. So if you have to move the bat up, it's a take. Just take it to your shoulder. If you have to move the bat too wide, like lean forward for an outside pitch, as soon as you feel that lean, you pull the bat back to your shoulder. Those two things should make you take. He gave us a foul ball.
Bunted in the air to third, deaded in front of Forsythe, looked at second and threw to first. Pretty impressive internal clock for a guy that hasn't played a ton at third in a while. He gets Montgomery, but Montgomery gets the job done.
Dave Roberts going to make a change. Clayton will not find his 8th win today. The Dodgers may win, but he is still at 7.
11 hits against him, matching a career high. Leaving with the lead, 6-4. Runners at second and third, his responsibility. Back in a moment. finish 6 innings. He goes 4 1/3. He allows at least 4. The men at second and third, his responsibility as he hands it off to Josh Fields.
Josh Fields has been outstanding this year. You look at the ERA below 1. He actually got sent down to AAA with an ERA of 0.00, but then came back very quickly and is really establishing himself as somebody you cannot move anymore. You have to keep him in the bullpen with that effectiveness.
Top of the order, Javier Baez with a chance to tie the game, with Russell at third and Almora at second. Strike one on an elevated fastball. This is power against power with a high 90s heater. Baez showed off his power with his 8th home run last inning against Kershaw. It's 0-2.
Josh Fields' consistency and effectiveness have really changed because his spray pattern has gotten tighter. The guy who likes to hunt and fish, like John Lester, if he was shooting a shotgun, it'd be a lot smaller caliber now, a little tight range there. Fastball at the waist to the letters has been really, really good. Not as many at the shoulders that are uncompetitive.
3 straight fastballs. This one hit foul as well. Heck of a pick down there. Wow.
What a play. I wish we had a Carl's Cam replay for this, but we're going to see it anyway. Watch this. That's awesome.
Baez has hit a couple in a row hard. 0-2 again. This one's fouled back.
He's swinging at the high one, but the other reason for Josh's success this year has been his curveball has gotten a lot better, and he's got a lot better command. But you come out of that bullpen with all the adrenaline in a big situation, second and third and 1 out. It's hard to pull the trigger on that secondary pitch when that adrenaline makes you feel like you can throw 100.
Second and third and 2 out. Another 0-2 and a good stop by Barnes. Ball 1. As he does finally go to the secondary.
Trust your catcher right there. Austin calls it, so he feels good about blocking it. He also calls for the target low and away. I want this ball in the dirt. I'll block it for you. Josh puts it there. Mission accomplished.
Dodgers led this game 6-1. Fastball gets him swinging. 2 out.
One little waist breaking ball and then a little farther up the ladder.
17, Chris Bryant.
Not out of the woods yet. Fields gets Baez, but now faces Bryant. Has reached twice today, a single and a walk. Russell at third, Almora at second. And strike 1.
With Baez, they were just trying to go high fastballs down the middle, make it look competitive, get the bat moving. With Bryant, they're going to try and be a little bit more specific if they go with the heater. They're going to try and get it in so he can't extend his arms.
Wants it down, gets it there. Bryant takes it, and the count evens.
You can see the range on that curveball's gotten a lot tighter. It used to be a big, huge curveball. Now it's hard, late, and sharp.
Fastball tied him up. 97 on the knuckles. 1-2.
Bryant lucky that hit wood. It kind of breaks fingers. Got to start the bat early because you know he's throwing hard, and that just hits him just barely above the right hand.
Fields trying to maintain the 2-run lead in the 5th. With the MVP at the plate. Fastball high, 2-2.
First base is not open with that guy on deck. You got 2 hitters to get 1 out. But you really don't want to pitch around Bryant with a 2-strike count.
Pop foul, stays at 2-2. I think that's the closest we've gotten to having a ball come in here yet.
About 4 feet away to our right. It's right over here. Right over there. I got you covered, Joe.
Appreciate you.
Boy, Brian and you duck. This one comes.
Field struck out Baez. He has Bryant 2-2. And he gets him swinging as well. 97 with a fastball. Finishes off Kershaw's line. A little more manageable 4 runs as opposed to the 6. Halfway home in a 6-4 game.
Backstage Dodgers. Yasiel Puig hosts a charity poker tournament to benefit his Wild Horse Foundation. Plus, get to know Andrew Tolles and his dad as he preps for surgery. Don't miss Backstage Dodgers, presented by Hankook Tires, Thursday after the postgame show on Sportsnet LA.
A few minutes ago, and Josh Fields finished off that inning. Kershaw there to greet him. Keeps it a 6-4 game as Yasiel Puig gets the first pitch from Mike Montgomery to the shortstop Russell for the first out of the 5th. This game in the hands of the bullpens. Montgomery on for John Lester last inning. Kershaw handed it off to Fields in the top of the 5th. And who would have thought that it'd be 6-4 at the halfway point? Both Lester and Kershaw out.
I wouldn't have thought that. I wouldn't have promoted that. I would have talked about it in the pregame show or the open, but that's the way it has turned out. And they've got a battle, and the Dodgers are looking for their 4th win in a row with a bullpen on the mound in Josh Fields that hasn't given up a run in a while. So they've got to feel pretty good about their chances with a 6-4 lead right now.
Hernandez the batter. 3-run homer his last time. Hits this one off the end of the bat to Hayward and right, and 3 pitches to get the first 2 outs.
Catcher Austin Barnes.
Barnes comes up. Cubs pitching trying to execute the first 1, 2, 3 inning of the game for either side. Inside, ball 1.
That's the second thing you wouldn't have thought of.
Yeah,
with
right.
a Lester against Kershaw game.
Two and out. Barnes hits one in the air to left center field. Happ is back on it. Austin Barnes joins the homer party. His second, and the lead is 3.
Austin Barnes, chance for a 1-2-3 inning. No, not with my at bat. Let's extend the lead, make it 7-4 Dodgers. The 11th hit for the Dodgers today. Another big fly.
Bellinger hit the first one and takes strike 1. So Bellinger, Hernandez, and then Barnes. 11 runs in the game on 6 homers. You were right about the conditions being right for it when you glanced up at those flags and noticed the temperature about an hour before first pitch.
It's a little different here in day games. And then when the wind was going the different direction than normal. Well, I didn't think it was going to happen, though. Not with these 2 pitchers.
Not like this.
No. Maybe 3-2, maybe 5-4, but the bullpen gives a little up, but not the starters. Cody just cutting down his swing right there, trying to put it in play. He almost fell over. He had to walk around the plate to regain his balance.
And he happily admits that he doesn't cut down. Strikes out swinging here. And the 5 innings in the books has us at 7-4 as Austin Barnes launches the 3rd Dodger home run of the day. out of here today. 6 home runs. Dodgers trying to finish off the sweep of Anthony Rizzo and the Cubs. Rizzo has one of those home runs, a 2-run shot against Kershaw, and takes strike 1 from Fields. A few weeks into Rizzo's pro career, he just turned 18 years old. He was in the Red Sox system. He was diagnosed with cancer, Hodgkin's lymphoma, and Red Sox flew him up to Boston. That's a strike 0-2. Wanted to get him some better treatment options and wanted to introduce him to today's starting pitcher for the Cubs, Jon Lester, who had already beaten cancer himself. So Lester and 18-year-old Rizzo at that point got to know each other, encouraged him. That's a ball. It's 1-2. But in that first conversation, minutes into the conversation, Rizzo passed out cold. Besides not feeling well at that point, he said he was overwhelmed with the moment, being at Fenway, meeting Lester. Tomahawks this one down the right field line. Puig running a mile after it, into the corner to catch it. The Wild Horse in a phone booth in the corner for the first out.
Yasiel Puig went a mile to get this ball, never broke stride, knew there was going to be a crash at the end. He sacrifices everything to catch the ball. Jock Peterson on the concussion DL. He and Yasiel collided in right center a few days ago as Yasiel caught a ball.
Ian Happ now hits the first one, foul, strike 1 to finish off the Rizzo and Lester story. They met again a few years later when both were all-stars. Rizzo never played for Boston, then became teammates obviously on the Cubs. Rizzo and Lester both doing fine now. Rizzo's cancer went into remission later that summer, in fact. It's a ball high on Happ, and it's 1-1. Happ has struck out all 3 times. Cubs have done, or Dodgers have done a good job on him this series. Rookie came in hot, but he's 1 for 10. 1-2. It's already his first 3 strikeout game in the majors. Just inches away from making it a 4 strikeout game.
Josh Fields trying to fit him with a golden sombrero, which symbolizes 4 strikeouts in a big league game. In a lot of games, but popularized here.
A pop-up. Hernandez. Puig comes on and calls him off to catch it. It's a much easier play coming in. You just kind of hold your breath with that freight train bearing down.
Right fielder number 22, Jason Hayward.
Could be considered a routine pop-up, but not for Kike Hernandez, knowing Yasiel is coming in behind him. That's like Bo Jackson coming at you.
Two up, 2 down, and Hayward the batter. '27-year-old, former Brave, former Cardinal. Second year with the Cubs. Much better this time around than last year. Gets under this one. Barnes loses the mask, has room, has the catch, and a 1-2-3 inning for Josh Fields. With a little help from Yasiel Puig, storming into the corner to take one away from Rizzo. 7-4 Los Angeles. is brought to you by Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop ChooseNissan.com. And by Carl's Jr., the baby back rib burger, only at Carl's Jr. Well, that's a bit of a weird sight, right? Babe Ruth in a Dodger uniform. 1938, he was a Dodger first base coach for part of the season, and his first games came against these Cubs. June 15th of that year, he was at Ebbets Field as a spectator when Johnny Vandermeer no-hit the Dodgers. Of course, the only guy ever to throw back-to-back no-hitters. That was the second of those two back-to-back no-nos. And the executive vice president of the Dodgers at the time, a guy named Larry McPhail, who had a great career in baseball, strike one on Brett Eibner, saw how excited the fans were to see Ruth and have a chance to meet him as he sat in the stands that night. That the next day, he decided to offer him a job on the staff, just trying to inject some excitement into the franchise. Pedro Strop quickly ahead of Eibner, 0-2. Team hadn't done well in a long time. They were really hitting the low point there, having gotten no hit in what was supposed to be a big positive night. It was the first night game in New York City history. So the Dodgers hired Ruth as the first base coach. On 3 pitches, Strop gets Eibner.
Now batting.
7-4 game in the 6th, and Chase Utley to pinch hit in the pitcher's spot.
Utley.
Now, Ruth was only with the team for that one season. It helped accomplish what they wanted it to. They drew about 200,000 more fans that year than they had the year before, largely because people wanted to come see the Babe coach first. Didn't get along, though, with Leo DeRocher, who was the shortstop, was the manager in waiting at the time. So they parted ways following the season. Ball and a strike on Chase. Knocked in 3 yesterday and has continued to swing a hot bat.
Dave Roberts stuck with him, very loyal to the 38-year-old. Quoted in the time when Chase started out super slow that he's still in the middle of good things and I believe in him, and Chase has rewarded that loyalty and belief with a very hot May.
It disappears on him, and it's 1-2.
Grounded out to second more than anybody I've seen to begin a season. And a batting average below 100 for a long time until he all of a sudden got it together. Base running, the defense, all the different things. You'd see Sergio Romo getting ready as Josh Fields had his hat off and looked like he was now a spectator in the Dodger dugout. Josh just catching some rays now.
Utley in foul ground at third. Brian runs out of room. Yeah, trying to get some sun in the back of that neck, right?
Exactly.
Long hair that he had covering that up.
First day that he cut the hair off, he was leaving the locker room to come out and he's for BP, and he said, "Oh, I got to go back. I got to get sunscreen on my neck." Every angle for you at home.
Full count on Utley. Top of the order, Logan Forsythe coming up next. Dodgers with 3-run homers from Bellinger and Hernandez in the second and then in the third. And then Barnes with a solo shot last inning. Cubs getting 1 in the second and 3 in the fourth. Solo shots from Contreras and Baez and a 2-run homer from Rizzo, all off of Kershaw. Utley earns the walk. Just seems to be seeing it so well.
He is seeing it well, and he has so many different approaches to different pitchers and different situations. He'll look like he's not even ready, but then be sitting on a fastball and turn on it. He'll look like he's for sure locked in, and he's taking and looking for a walk. Every facet of the game he's got polished.
So one out base runner for Forsythe, who's 0 for 2 today. Here's a Babe Ruth tie-in to this series you may find interesting from the great Brian Hagan. So the Dodgers shutting the Cubs out the first 2 games of this series. Prior to that, the last time that the defending champion was shut out in back-to-back games in which they had 3 or fewer hits in the 2 games, 100 years ago, when the Indians shut the Red Sox out in back-to-back games. The tie-in from Babe Ruth is that Ruth had the lone hit for the Red Sox in each of those games. Ball and 2 strikes on Forsythe.
I have no idea how he finds that so quickly. No idea. And if he told us, then he wouldn't have job security, so he's not going to tell us.
He's a wizard. Wizards don't share their secrets. Big bouncer past the mound is short. Russell steps on the bag and throws in one motion for a double play. Strop able to face the minimum in the 6th out of the late innings in a 7-4 game. Break brought to you by T-Mobile. And Bunning passed away yesterday. The Hall of Famer at 85. Complications from a stroke that he suffered last year. So most of his 17 years in the majors with the Tigers and the Phillies, but did have a stint with the Dodgers in 1969. And parlayed that playing career into a career in politics as a U.S. Senator in Kentucky.
A very fine man, and not only the baseball player, but a family man. And he's remembered as a great husband and father and grandfather and great-grandfather.
Chase Utley, after hitting, is at second. Kike Hernandez slides from there to third, and Logan Forsythe comes out. Sergio Romo comes on, and this is a fairly high-leverage situation for a guy who's struggling to find himself. 3-run game against a powerful lineup, and Contreras taking ball 1. Cubs catcher a home run against Kershaw on the end of a 12-pitch at bat. It's the longest at bat that finished in a home run in Dodger Stadium since Alex Cora's famous 18-pitch AB. Two and one. Two and two.
Slider's a little bigger and sharper today. Sergio Romo needs that pitch. He's going to throw it about 80–90% of the time, but he has started to mix in the fastball a little more and his changeup.
And gets one of the knees with a straight four-seam. So Contreras the first out of the inning and a strikeout.
Officially pitching backwards, breaking balls for strikes, fastballs just to show, but here locks him up after a slider low and away, thinking it's going to be a slider, but no, it's not.
That is 6 up and 6 down for the top bullpen in the National League. John Jay to pinch hit here. Joe Maddon ready to unload his bench, brings Jay on here. He's put Kyle Schwarber into the on deck circle. A cue shot, foul, strike one. In anticipation perhaps of Schwarber coming up, Dave Roberts has Adam Liberatore going. There was news this weekend out of that Cubs clubhouse. Joe Maddon saying that Kyle Schwarber is now officially a platoon player and will only face right-handed pitchers. There's the change, 0-2.
Good arm speed on this pitch, something he invented in winter ball this year, as he knew he needed more to the arsenal to continue to be successful at the big league level.
Buzzed him with that one, ball one.
So Schwarber, who didn't need any rehab to be in the starting lineup in the World Series and had an outstanding World Series, now is a platoon player. That is huge news.
A roller to the hole at second. Utley throws Jay out.
You know, and Cody Bellinger got the home run off of John Lester. I looked at the right-left combination for Cody Bellinger. He's hitting higher off of lefties than righties. A young guy that has come up and had immediate success like Kyle.
And as soon as he's introduced, here comes Dave Roberts out of the dugout. Hey, I read the Chicago newspapers. I hear you're not going to let him face lefties. In this case, he may not have no choice. 7-4 game in the 7th, and Adam Liberatore on to face Schwarber after Romo gets both men that he faces.
Your attention, please. Now pitch.
Old Timers game. I'm not sure I like that name. Presented by Security Benefit on June 10th. How about Senior Game? When the Dodgers face the Cincinnati Reds, June 10th. Be here early to see your favorite former old-timer Dodgers. For tickets and information, visit Dodgers.com/oldtimers. Seniors, legends, old-timers.
You want me to handle that one and tell the game? I'll probably read it a little more.
No, I like to rip on it. But I would like to see the fans come here on June 10th. We're going to face the Reds. That'll be the important game, but there'll be another slightly laughable game prior to the game.
Adam Liberatore on to face Kyle Schwarber. Strike one.
What amazed me during the Old Timers game is watching Fernando lift his leg still as high as he could when he was younger, and still looks to the sky before he throws it. I would think the Old Timers would be like, oh my God, he's not even looking at me.
Liberatore quickly ahead 0-2 here in his first outing in the big leagues in a few weeks, and only his third total. One and two. Startling the numbers that Schwarber has for Cubs fans after such a huge World Series, after such a huge debut season the year before. Getting below 200. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Pretty much labeled a guy that can hit falling out of bed, and really proved that in the World Series. Extremely talented individual that is just searching right now.
He's their leadoff hitter up until about a week ago. Doesn't look like one, but the stat line when he's right does. His on-base percentage in his first 2 years above 350, where league average is about 320. On the hand, straight back. 4th overall pick 3 years ago. Played his college ball at Indiana. Made his big league debut 1 year later. And really broke onto the scene that postseason when he hit 5 home runs, including one that landed on top of the video board at Wrigley Field and is still there. They have a plexiglass case over it. Hit one out of the street on the last homestand. Nice play there by Fan. So he still flashed the power. He does have 7 homers. It's just that average and that on base percentage nowhere close to what it had become expected to be. Another one that'll reach the seats. It's in this ballpark that he first took batting practice trying to come back last year. Blew out his knee in the 2nd game of the year. Somehow got ready for the World Series. But during the National League Championship Series, first started tracking pitches here. He's worked it full.
Maybe that's what he needs to do. Maybe, I don't know what he's doing as far as trying to get out of the slump, but for somebody that couldn't hit because of a knee problem, but he got himself ready by just tracking the ball, maybe he needs to get back to that habit, because that sure got him ready.
On the 9th pitch, he bounces one to Bellinger at first, and that does it for the Cubs in the 7th. And this Memorial Day weekend, we will keep you here in the middle of the 7th for God Bless America. So we'll hand it over to Todd Lights, the Dodger Stadium PA announcer.
Ladies and gentlemen, to honor America and the men and women who've given their lives in service of our country, please rise and kindly remove your hats for the singing of God Bless America. Please welcome back to the field, Kelly Packard.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Now, fans, it's time for the 7th inning stretch, presented by Cole.
Brought to you by BMW. See a Southern California BMW Center today for exceptional offers, or visit SoCalBMW.com. And by Energy Upgrade California. Back in beautiful Southern California, Hector Rondon into the game, 7-4. Dodgers in front. The bottom of the 7th inning as Rondon gets ready to pitch in his 20th game this year, facing the heart of the Dodge order, 2, 3, and 4. But enough about him. We've got some good news to pass along.
Well, he has regained his strength and he is doing well. And number 2, the Hall of Fame manager Tommy Lasorda is headed home from the hospital. So he is feeling much better and he's stronger. And he is home right now, I am told. So it is fantastic news. And Skipper, I know you're watching and listening. We love you. And we are so glad you're home there with Joe.
Corey Seager to the plate here in the bottom of the 7th. The next step, we all hope, is seeing him back out here at the ballpark. You got the 7-game road trip coming up, and then the Dodgers return home, and hopefully Tommy Lasorda does as well. Strike 1 on Seager.
Well, you just challenged him, and I have a big belief that with the heart of a lion that he has and bleeding Dodger blue, he will do everything in his power to be here next homestand.
Now they did 2.
No one in my life has injected more courage into me than Tommy Lasorda. It's one thing to have a teammate do it, but when your manager believes in you in something you don't even see in yourself, it's a blessing you can never thank him enough for.
I was going to say, you said that I issued a challenge to Tommy. He never challenged you, did he?
Oh, he did after he built me up. First he built me up, and then he challenged me on a daily basis and a nightly basis, and then even challenged me when I didn't wear Dodger blue. Second game that I was pitching in the World Series for the Cleveland Indians. He didn't like what he saw in my first game when I lost. He called me about 45 minutes before the start. The clubhouse guy said, "There's a man on the phone for you." And I said, "I don't take calls now. You know, I'm getting ready." He goes, "It's Tommy Lasorda." He said, "I'll be right there." And he gave me one of his mound visits over the phone and ended up winning that game. and thank him all the time for it. He influences wins everywhere.
That is awesome. How does one make a call to a stadium clubhouse? Obviously, it's Tommy Lasorda, but
Tommy could call the White House and they would answer and take. After a big game, every once in a while, he'd say, "Hey, you want to talk to the president?" I go, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, sit down. You threw a shutout." The president probably watched it. Yeah, he'd call the White House and they'd answer the switchboard and he'd get the president on the phone.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Rondon gets Seager, 1 out. All kinds of defensive changes for you. John Jay is in center.
Center fielder number 3.
Ian Happ moves from left to second, and Kyle Schwarber, with Javier Baez moving to short. Kyle Schwarber is now in left, following his pinch hit appearance for Almora. So Schwarber in left, Jay in center, Baez at short, Happ at second. Taylor is 0 for 3. One hit in this series, that home run yesterday. Now the Dodgers went out and they got Logan Forsythe in the trade for De Leon. They signed Franklin Gutierrez, both with the idea of better hitting against lefties in mind. Chris Taylor smacks this ball into shallow center to collect another hit. Sitting right under the noses the whole time, has been the best guy against left-handed pitching. So even just in a vacuum looking at what he's done for the team, it's been impressive. But when you boil it down to what the specific needs were, he's been a guy that has addressed them.
You know, a lot of bias in baseball comes from the name when you look at a stat sheet. But a lot of times you just need to cover up all the names, look at the stats across the board, and then go, this is my lineup. And this is what I like. And you know what? Remove Chris Taylor's name now, and he's at the top of a lot of people's lists all over baseball.
Yasiel Puig 1 for 3. Looks at a ball. And on a roster that has as much financial backing as any in baseball, it shows how weird this game is, that it's a guy named Chris Taylor, who's a no-name before this last month, hitting third, leading the club on a nightly basis.
There's only 5 teams in baseball that have 30 wins or more: the Dodgers, the Arizona Diamondbacks, the Colorado Rockies, Washington Nationals, the Houston Astros. And Chris Taylor's hitting third for one of them.
And it's no surprise. It's not like you look at the lineup and say, oh my gosh, Taylor's third. You look at it and you say, wow, yeah, it's his first career time, but this makes sense.
He's hitting every position in the order now but 4th and 9th, and he might hit 9th this year, because when they play the games against the Angels, American League teams, all of a sudden you never know. Maybe he's in a little bit of a slump and the DH is in there and he's going to hit 9th. And he might hit 4th.
Dodgers trying to get to a season-high 11 games above 500, trying to keep pace with the Rockies, who beat the Cardinals. Taylor takes off. The throw goes into center. He pops to his feet and holds on. So a stolen base to add to the ledger, and a runner in scoring position for Puig.
Wilson Contreras with his 8 errors. If Taylor advances on this overthrow, it's his 9th. Taylor can't get over there, but wow, Contreras just unloaded a scud.
High drive, left center. Forget about this one. Yasiel Puig with a monster shot.
It's now time for an Arco top tier play. Of course, brought to you by Arco, and Yasiel Puig on a hanging breaking ball obliterates this pitch. This game is turning out to be a statement game, a statement series by the Los Angeles Dodgers, shutting down the Cubs for 2 games and now pounding them in the 3rd.
Statement game, video game. 4 home runs for the Dodgers today. Hernandez has one of them. 3-run homers from Bellinger and Kike. A solo shot from Barnes. Then a 2-run shot from Puig. And a 9-4 lead over the defending champs here in the 7th. 6 outs away from sweeping the Cubs for the first time in 5 years. Hernandez into short left, and a sliding Schwarber makes the catch. Boy, at this point, you don't blame him, but every time there's a ball in the air, 47,000 are wishing it out of here.
What a great crowd today, and they've had a lot of excitement to witness. Not what they expected with a Kershaw-Lester matchup, but the Dodger offense has not disappointed any of them. Maybe a few of those Cubs jerseys are disappointed. They're being drowned out today by the Dodger faithful.
Strike 1 on Barnes. So the last regular season meeting between the teams, but just say stay tuned into October. This October and for years to come when you look at the composition of these 2 rosters.
Cubs the 4th youngest team in the big leagues, averaging just a click over 27 years old. San Diego a little younger, Minnesota a little younger, but you know what, their rotation is a little older.
Yeah.
Hendricks is the 27-year-old, and he's the youngest in the rotation, and that's their average age. You got Lackey at 38, Lester at 33, Arrieta at the average of their rotation at 31, Brett Anderson at 29, and kind of injury prone. So right now you think about the Cubs and you think about a young juggernaut that won a world championship last year, but you also look at the rotation and go, could that be a place where they are vulnerable?
Velocity was down for all of them over the first month of the year. First there's the age, next there's the fact that they all pitch deep into the postseason. And because of that, treated them all with slow ramp ups during spring training. Velocity getting back for most of them, but still, there is that concern about the age.
Shot of John Lackey right there.
Full count on Barnes. Opposite end of that spectrum is the team with the best record in the National League. That's the Rockies, the youngest rotation in baseball by far. Just off of the corner, and Barnes is walked.
As the culture of baseball changes, and especially the roster configurations with deeper bullpens, and I mean deeper with more bodies, the older starter will get protected. As starters get older, they usually can't get into the 7th and 8th. So all of a sudden you got a guy that can only get in the 6th and 7th, and then maybe a starter that can only get into the 5th and 6th. If they can do it in a high quality way, there are more bodies and more arms in the bullpen to protect those extra innings.
Bellinger upstairs, ball 1.
So maybe that'll be the philosophy of the Cubs as this season goes on, is to get these starters out a little earlier and use the bullpen arms. Today they had an early exit, but it wasn't to rest John Lester, it was effectiveness.
Contreras pumping Barnes back to the bag, even though There's nobody there to take a throw. Rizzo didn't budge from there.
That can be considered bush league or unprofessional because there's such wear and tear on a daily basis that the respect for the opponent and everyone, you don't do certain things like that. It's one thing to play 3 games over a weekend as an amateur. It's another thing to play 162 over 6 months.
Two and two. Full count.
Cody Bellinger only hitting .263 off of righties, but hitting over .300 against lefties. Let's talk about the power. 7 of those home runs are against righties, and the 3rd today off of a lefty.
Got a piece of this one. Kind of cut down there.
A little bit. He's got that little emergency swing when he's kind of bailing and wailing, but the hands are still back, and he's able to kind of chop with the top hand to fight a pitch off, or we've seen him hit a double down the left field line that way, hitting the ball firmly.
Strikes out here, and the inning is over. But Yasiel Puig with a 2-run homer to make it 9-4. The Dodgers have hit 4 home runs today. Tommy Lasorda's home from the hospital. What a great day to be alive. Casino should be quick and a lot of zeros. It was Kershaw and Lester, right? Nope. 7 home runs combined. 4 from the Dodgers. Bellinger and Hernandez both 3-run shots. Barnes a solo homer, and Puig with the latest, a 2-run blast. 9-4 lead as we go to the 8th inning. Dodgers 6 outs away from finishing off their first sweep of the Cubs in 5 years. Got to go back to 2012 to find the last time. Miguel Montero to lead off this inning. Strike 1 from Adam Liberatore. Cubs and the Dodgers have played in LA 345 times since the Dodgers moved here in 1958. This is only the 2nd time where both teams have hit 3+ homers in a game. And it's the first time in a game at Dodger Stadium, because the only other time that it happened was in 1960 at the Coliseum. Don Drysdale, believe it or not, gave up 3 in that game, including 1 to Ernie Banks.
The only time this stuff is going to happen is when you have Hall of Famers on the mound.
I guess. It's a ball to 1-2. Don't you feel like we've had an inordinate amount of cool nuggets lately? I guess it probably comes from your team playing well, and it could come on the opposite end of that, which is your team playing poorly. But a lot of fun historical tie-ins with this Dodger group. That's up, and it's 2-2. Half of that is negative, allowing the 3 home runs.
Well, how many times would you think the Cubs are going to get shut out by the Dodgers and Clayton Kershaw is not going to pitch one of them?
Yeah.
And then you're coming into a Kershaw-Lester game, and you're thinking maybe this might continue. But both Lester and Clayton proved that they were human today, and you give them that grace because they have provided so much excitement and so much great baseball for fans, broadcasters, managers, everybody.
Liberatore to Montero with a 2-2 offering. Struck him out on the outside corner. It's now 9 up and 9 down for the Dodger bullpen.
Well, the Dodger bullpen does not have a blemish in this series. They have been unscored upon.
Javier Baez at the top has one of the 3 Cubs homers. His 8th of the year. Grew up in Puerto Rico. His favorite player growing up, Manny Ramirez. Always tried emulating his swing and his style. I can see it.
Manny didn't swing at the ball at his head very much, up over his head.
A crack bat liner caught at third by Hernandez. The barrel of the bat goes into the Dodger dugout. And so to say a crack bat liner is a massive understatement. Everybody's okay. 2 out.
Rick Honeycutt there with his little cheat sheets saying it hit the padding right above him. Let's take a look right here and see where this bat goes.
Oh.
And it is a whoa.
Wow.
Rick, what were you looking at? Let's go. Get your head in the game.
He almost did.
Wow. That would be a huge loss. Gets this staff prepared. We had a barbecue with the girls last night after the game, and it was so much fun to have a barbecue with a pitching coach that just threw 2 shutouts. He was in a great mood.
You say that would be a huge loss.
It would be.
Yes, I agree. Your pitching coach getting impaled by a broken bat would not be good.
It wouldn't take an impaling to put him out. If it just barely nicked him, if it hurt his golf swing at all, he'd be out. He'd be like, I need to go to the training table. I got to get ready for my next tee time.
Don't backtrack and put this on Rick. We can laugh because everybody's fine. 3-0 on Kris Bryant.
Let's not play this portion of the broadcast back for him. he'll be all over me.
I'm going to play it back for him on the plane today.
Oh, thanks. I'll guarantee you he'll hear it or see it because he watches every game, every pitch, and with jamming Baez like that from Liberatore, he's going to analyze that.
First base runner against the Dodger bullpen. A 2-out walk for Kris Bryant.
He and Turner Ward might watch more video than anybody on the whole staff preparing for games. Ask him to come over for dinner before a first game of a series and says, no, I can't. I got my homework to do. And so I know I've gotten in a rhythm now to know when I can ask him out or when he can play golf. End of a series is much better because he's seen it all and studied it all.
Bryant runs on a strike. Cubs head down to San Diego from here. Dodgers to St. Louis. Will get in late tonight and then play an early one tomorrow. About 19 hours from first pitch in St. Louis.
The crew calls in a couple hours. We better get going.
Yeah, we got to get our crew on the plane, get them out there. Other than 2 on Rizzo. 2 hits today, one of them a long homer. His 12th to lead the team. Chokes up as he does with 2 strikes, way up on that bat. Takes one by the hands, ball 1. 27-year-old. 3 consecutive 30 home run seasons. 3 consecutive All-Star seasons. Liberatore gets him. And another scoreless inning for the Dodger relief staff. 9-4. Dodgers lead out of the bottom of the 8th.
Expected after the game. Access Sportsnet Dodgers brought to you by your Southern California Nissan dealers. John, Nomar, Ned break this one down. The shorter outings from John Lester and Clayton Kershaw. Plus the game, the story of the long ball today, guys, as we have a 9-4 lead in this one.
Yeah, trying to finish off the sweep. Kyle Schwarber is going to catch. He's only caught 2 innings this year. They move Contreras to left and give Schwarber a chance to play his natural position as Felix Pena comes on to pitch. Eibner's 0 for 3. Takes ball 1. Dodgers getting out hit by the Cubs 11-10 in this game, but with a 9-4 lead in the bottom of the 8th inning. Two and 0. Pitching probables are in for the series in St. Louis. 2-1. Tomorrow it'll be Rich Hill trying to bounce back from what he called an embarrassing outing his last time against Mike Leake. National League leader and earned run average at $191. Beat the Dodgers in Game 2 this week against the Cardinals. 2-2. 11:15 Los Angeles time. First pitch in that game. On Tuesday, it's Kenta Maeda and Michael Wacha. Game 3 Wednesday, Wood against Carlos Martinez, and then McCarthy against Adam Wainwright in the finale. Eibner looks at strike 3, and 1 out in the 8th.
Justin Turner and Adrian Gonzalez, they are baseball's dynamic duo when it comes to selfies. Join us Tuesday, June 6th against the Nationals, when the first 40,000 fans will receive a Justin Turner bobblehead. Then complete the set with the Adrian Gonzalez bobblehead during the Game 2, the bobbleheaders, on September 6th. Both presented by State Farm. Visit Dodgers.com/promotions.
Gonzalez on deck as Utley bats. Walked his first time off of the bench in the 6th. One and 1. Kenley Jansen perhaps to get some work in here. Now you win 4-0, you win 5-0. There's not a ton of use.
Like a starter, he's on 4 days rest.
Right.
He's been up the last couple days, but not in.
2-1. Let's go down to Alana.
With 2 guys coming out of the bullpen and picking up saves, as far as Ross Stripling and Hyunjin Ryu were concerned, Kenley Jansen was joking with me the other day, saying they're just going to have to find me a new role. Apparently, I'm not the closer anymore, but I joked with him about it. And Dave Roberts said no matter what, he was coming into this game unless Clayton Kershaw had thrown a complete game, guys. So Kenley Jansen coming in, obviously, to get some work.
All right.
Kenley Jansen got every regular season save for the Dodgers last year. Clayton Kershaw had 1 in the playoffs. This year, there's already 4 Dodgers that have saves. Kenley, Josh Fields, Ryu, and Stripling. There they are.
Hitter number 23, Adrian Gonzalez.
Second Utley walk, and here's Adrian Gonzalez for his first at-bat of the day. Racking up the extra base hits since coming off of the disabled list at the beginning of this homestand, including his first home run of the year. Came on Friday night to dead center field. He said afterwards, look, as long as I feel healthy, I can still produce at the level that I have throughout my career. It's a simple concept, just not a simple thing to execute. 1 ball and 1 strike. As he continues to battle through the back and the elbow, forearm. The DL stint helping him at least feel a little bit better, well enough to look a little bit more like himself.
When you've never been on the DL, that means you have played through a lot of things. And that means there's a lot of wear and tear. So you don't have to be actually hurt. You could just be hurting. What people don't always realize is that when you are hurting, that means you get less reps of practice. A lot of your time is spent trying to heal to be strong enough and have the lowest pain level in your body when the game starts.
That's a base hit to right. Utley did well to avoid that hot shot. And the Dodgers have 2 on with 1 out.
It's a base hit to right, and it's also to right field, which is something that Adrian couldn't do as the pain increased. Turn over that front arm and roll that wrist over, which puts pressure on his forearm and his elbow, but now that's healing up and he's able to take a full swing to the pull side.
So with Corey Seager coming up, the Dodgers with a chance to reach double-digit runs again. Last did it on May 8th. Strike 1. Corey singles in each of his first 2 at-bats, but back-to-back Ks since. 1-1. One and two. You believe it's the 51st game of the year?
He's flying by.
End of the St. Louis series will be a third of the way into the year. A little bit in, and the count evens 2-2. Just barely got a piece to stay alive against Pena.
Feel pretty comfortable calling this a Dodger sweep with Kenley Jansen warming. He's absolutely been outstanding. A 5-run lead. Going to get on a plane to St. Louis and continue this hot streak the Dodgers are on.
Catching a bit of a break weather-wise there, it looks like. Going to be in the 70s. A lot of times going to St. Louis can be very hot and humid. You catch it at the wrong time of year. Sometimes this is the wrong time of year to go there, but living right. Nice weather for all four, at least temperature-wise. Always a threat of storms there. Strike three call. And after the back-to-back singles his first 2 times up, that's 3 straight Ks Dan Corey's day.
Fielder number 3, Chris Taylor.
Just a basic solid fastball down the middle of the plate, slightly low, but Corey read it as too low, and it wasn't.
Taylor's 1 for 4. One of the 11 Dodger hits in this game. Utley at second, Gonzalez at first. Here's Pena. There's a jam shot to right that Hayward camps under. Let's go to the 9th. Dodgers 3 outs away from finishing off a sweep of the Cubs. Get some work in this game as long as Clayton Kershaw didn't go the full 9 innings, and he's in even though it's a 5-run game because it's been a while.
It has. It's been 4 days that he's been up a couple times in the bullpen the last couple of days and nights. He only threw 17 pitches in his last outing, so he is ready and raring to go.
Been a great weekend. 3 great atmospheres for this series. Good atmospheres really all homestand, with the Cardinals following the Marlins and then the Cubs. Middle third of the order for the Cubs facing Jansen here in the 9th inning. All 13 runs in this game have come via the homer. One and 0. $4-0 win in the opener. 5-0 win yesterday. Different personality to this game. 3 outs away though from the same result. We'll move the Dodgers to a season high 11 games above 500 at 31-20. And it moved them into second, passing the Diamondbacks, who lost earlier today against the Brewers. 2-1. That'll reach the seats. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Dodgers will now be tied with the Nationals for the second best record in the National League. But the team with the best record still resides in the West. The Rockies are 33-19. Dodgers will enter the week a 1.5 games behind them. Half down swinging, 1 out in the 9th. Mariners going to Denver tomorrow to begin a series.
Kenley Jansen's patented cutter right there, just above the waist and moving into the lefty.
Jansen to Hayward. Outside for a ball. Yeah, the Cardinals, who the Dodgers get ready to play for the second time in a 10-game span tomorrow, they had a really hot stretch where they were the best team in baseball from mid-April until mid-May. But they've now lost 8 of 11. That includes losing 2 of 3 in this ballpark last week. What do you think of the Cardinals after seeing them for a few games going into this series tomorrow?
Starting pitching looks pretty doggone solid. The offense, how are they going to score some runs? They're going to really need to get total contribution from a lot of different guys and score runs as a lineup. The bullpen has got some issues too. Rosenthal they can't use really on back-to-back nights, so it's hard to say, oh, we've got 8th and 9th covered when they're ahead. Depends on the rhythm of their wins, so they've got some issues to work through. A lot of times, you know, you can have really great years as a team if the rhythm falls right too, like as a starting pitcher or anybody, and if you fall in against a team that's struggling or is hurt, you happen to get it to go in there for 3 or 4 games, can really help out your record. It's time to capitalize on that if you're the Dodgers. You're hot and they're not.
And they're playing a stretch where they have 47 games in 48 days heading into the All-Star break. That includes right now, we're talking St. Louis, includes a stretch where they've played 13 of 17 away from home. Games at the Dodgers, at the Rockies, at the Cubs, and at the Reds. 4 series, none of them easy. Two and 2 on Jason Hayward, with 1 out in the 9th inning, and the Dodgers in front of the Cubs by a bunch. Cubs had won 7 of 9 coming into this series. They were swinging hot bats on the homestand, but the Dodgers shut them down in the first 2 games and Plenty of offense to carry the torch today. So the Cubs will find themselves, again, only a game above 500, which is 10 games off of the pace they were on last year. Hard to repeat. It's not been done since the Yankees did it. 98 through 2000. Last repeat pennant winner in the National League, the Phillies, in 08 and 09. Won it in 08, lost in 09 to the Yankees. Hayward grounds that one foul off his foot, and it's still 2-2.
Oh, that was almost ankle. Something that's very hard to study is why people can't repeat. Shows you how tight the competition is, how hard it is to win a short series. I think how close it was that the Cubs lost last year to the Indians. I mean, it was a very fine line that all of a sudden broke the curse. A guy at the plate with a motivational speech helped an awful lot.
It's a pop-up, foul ground near the Dodger dugout. That will get in the dugout.
The broken bats coming at the dugout. We got foul balls coming in the dugout. I think Rick Honeycutt should wear a helmet over there.
Well, we were talking between innings. So the more I think about your comment when that sharp bat went flying over there by him, where
I was
you
trying
said,
to compliment him.
No, just hold on.
That'd be a big loss.
Yeah, you say it'd be a big loss, but the more I think about it, the only way you actually lose Rick Honeycutt in that situation is if...
Don't go there.
You know what I mean, though. He's still going to be the pitching coach tomorrow. As long as you don't have the ultimate bad thing happen there. Bellinger steps on the bag, 2 outs. It's morbid, I know, but it's funny.
It's a 9-4 game in the 9th with 2 out.
Yep. And an out away from a sweep of the defending champion. Your point's well taken, though. He's as valuable as anyone in this organization.
He is so valuable. I'm glad Justin Turner's over there to protect him right now. His reflexes aren't what they used to be. Neither are Turner's.
Contreras, last hope for the Cubs. Ball one. You concerned at all if you're a Cubs fan?
A little bit. A little bit. I have a hangover of seeing them do a lot of things right, so I don't know if my eyes are clear when I look at the Cubs yet.
At some point, you are what your record says.
Yes, you are.
When does that become the case?
Well, a good 20 games after the All-Star break or so.
All right.
You know, I mean, think about the Dodgers. What was it, June 27th or so last year? 8.5 out. Clayton Kershaw going on the DL.
That's a good point.
Well, things can look pretty bleak, but when you have a really good organization, find a way to fight out of it.
A pop-up. Bellinger at first. The Dodgers have swept the Cubs. 4-0 on Friday, 5-0 on Saturday, and behind 4 home runs today, 9-4.
11 games above 500, a season high for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Now they hit the road and try and expand on that. They did this sweep with arms, and they got their hitting shoes on today.
Our Lexus play of the game, and he could choose from a few, but we'll go with Bellinger's 3-run home run. His 10th of the season. He's now driven in a team-high 28 runs in his 31 games in the majors. The Dodgers have won 9 of 11 and a Major League best 21 of their last 29. That does it for this homestand from Dodger Stadium. For Orr Hershiser, Alana Rizzo, and the rest of our crew, Joe Davis saying so long from Los Angeles. On to St. Louis. Opener with the Cardinals tomorrow. For now, stay tuned for Access Sportsnet, brought to you by your Southern California Nissan dealers.